Alright, so today we're doing area. So you need to go to a new page because this is a new topic that we're doing. So put the heading down, the topic heading area, big capital letters and highlight it, and we're starting this topic. So area is the space inside a closed figure. So remember, perimeter is the length around the outside of the shape, area is the space inside the figure. Okay, so today we're doing area of a trapezium. You need to know what a trapezium is. So a trapezium is a quadrilateral. That means that it's got 4 sides. Okay, quad means 4, lateral means sides, so it has 4 sides, but it also has 1 pair of parallel sides. Okay, so if you have a look here, we've got a 4-sided shape, and it does have 1 pair of parallel sides. So that's a trapezium. Alright, so the area formula that you need to learn off by heart for a trapezium is A equals a half H bracket A plus B bracket. Now, the A and the B in the formula are the parallel side lengths. Okay, so if we have a look back here at our shape, A and B are the lengths of the parallel sides. It doesn't matter which one you put in for A and which one you put in for B, as long as it's the 2 parallel sides. Now the H is the perpendicular height between the parallel sides. So we're going directly from one of these parallel sides to the other and creating a right angle with them. Okay, so we could put it down like this, and we'll say that's H, from there to there. Okay? So that's your perpendicular height between the parallel sides. Alright, so we're going to try some examples here. Underline the word area. We're finding the area inside this shape. It is a trapezium because it's got 4 sides and it has 1 pair of sides that's parallel to each other. So let's put our numbers in. Firstly, write your formula. Do never ever leave that line out. The formula must always be written down. Okay, so in the next line, don't forget we have times signs that are going in there. So we're going to put a half times. Now I'm not going to put the perpendicular height in yet. I'm going to leave a space, then the times. So it's always good to write down what your parallel sides are first so you don't get things mixed up. So the A and the B are these 2 parallel sides, 15 and 22. So I'm going to write them in. The brackets there, so it's 15 plus 22. It would not have mattered if you wrote 22 plus 15. Now the perpendicular height goes between those parallel sides, so that's where the 8 goes in. And now we're just going to put the whole thing in the calculator, left to right. Don't try and work out bits and pieces, you'll risk getting it wrong. So we're going to go, firstly we're putting in the half, so it's the fraction key, and we put in 1, down arrow 2, right arrow, then we press times, 8, times, open bracket, which is just here above the numbers, then 15 plus 22, and close the bracket. So it looks like what we wrote on the board, then press equals 148. Okay, so we write that answer down. And it's in millimetres, but we're doing an area, so that's squared, and there's your answer. Okay, you don't need to keep writing the A down over here, so I'm leaving that out, but you can write in A all the time if you want to. Alright, so the next question. I've already written down the formula. A equals a half H bracket A plus B. I'm going to put in the times signs, so we don't forget to put them in when the numbers go in. Okay, now it's a bit hard to see where the parallel sides are here, but when you've got 2 right angles like that, you can imagine that if you've got 2 sides and they're a bit crooked, if you straighten them up, sorry, which way are we? Alright, so we might be like this, my 2 arms, alright, but once I straighten them up like that, I'll end up actually having a right angle between them. Okay, so if you have 2 right angles, you do know then that these 2 sides are parallel. So I'll get you to get your red pen and write in those red arrows for me. Okay, so now we're going to start subbing in. So I'm doing a half times, I'm leaving a blank, times. Now over here I'm putting in the 2 parallel sides, which are 7.9 and 4.8. 7.9 plus 4.8. 4.8. Again, you could have those the other way around to say 4.8 plus 7.9, it doesn't matter. The perpendicular height goes between them with the right angles. You've got them, there it is, 5.2, and that goes in that spot there. So now we're going to our calculator, and you're going to type in what we did before, so press your fraction key. 1 down arrow 2, right arrow, times 5.2 times open bracket, 7.9 plus 4.8, close the bracket. You won't see the whole thing by the time you get to there, but it'll look something like that at the end of it. Press equals, and it's 33.02. Write the whole answer down, and it's in millimetres, and it's an area, so it's squared. Okay, next question. Write your formula down. These are all trapeziums, so we're lucky we know they're trapeziums already. So where's our pair of parallel sides? Here they are. Okay, you can see the arrows on them. So we're going to start by putting those parallel sides in first. It's 75 plus 40. And that only leaves one number left, 15, which is the perpendicular height, see the right angle, between the parallel sides. So now you're going to type that into your calculator. Start by pressing your fraction key. 1 down arrow 2, right arrow, times 15 times open bracket, 75 plus 40, close the bracket. All right, mine's looking like that. Press equals. All right, we get that funny looking answer there. I don't want that answer because I'm finding an area. So let's press SD, and we're going to give that answer, 862.5. Okay, and it's in millimetres, and it's an area, so it's going to be squared. So just remember on that one, we did need to press SD to get our decimal answer out. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So number 2, where's our parallel sides? Well, you see your 2 right angles there, so that's straightening up these sides here, so that will make them parallel. So A and B are going to be 130 and 75. But first we write down our area formula. And let's put the times signs in. Okay, so we're going to start subbing our numbers in now. So we have a half times, I'm leaving this blank at the moment. And then our parallel sides are 130 and 75. Plus 75. All right, the perpendicular height between them, see the right angles, is 80. All right, so we're going to put that into your calculator. So we're typing in fraction key, 1 down arrow 2, right arrow, times 80, times, open bracket, 130 plus 75, close the bracket. There it is, press equals, 8,200. And it's in metres, and it's squared for area. All right, now the second part of this question. Now this one is actually a block of land. They've told you here you're finding the area of the block of land. Anyone who lives at the end of a cul-de-sac is not going to have a rectangular shaped block. Okay, so what actually happens is something like this. The road goes down and then there's the turning circle. So if you're driving around, that's how you drive, okay? But the houses, these houses here will be rectangular. Then they get up to here and they start doing something like this because they have to get themselves around the roundabout. Okay, now all of those ones at the end there, these houses are trapeziums, okay, because you have a pair of lines there that are parallel and these 2 fences are not. All right, so anyone living, you would know if you live at the end of a cul-de-sac, you do not have a rectangular block of land. Okay, so we've just found the area of that block of land. It's 8,200 metres squared. That is a big block of land. So just to give you an idea, if you live on a house, in a house, a freestanding house that's not connected to any other building or any other house, then you are probably on a block of land on average anywhere between 500 and 700 square metres. Bigger blocks, really big blocks, start to be 1,000 square metres or 1,100 square metres. This one is 8,200 metres square. So they probably have a little bit of a farm, a very small farm or something like that. Okay, now it says, council regulations state that 1/5 of the land must be reserved for gardens. Now councils do that because otherwise some people would build on every piece of land that they have. Just put one big house up, don't care about anybody else, and there'd be no trees, no flowers. It's very ugly to look at a whole lot of buildings next to each other, and it's for the environment that we have these regulations. Okay, so it says 1/5 of the land must be for gardens. 1/5 for gardens. But the question says, how much land is there for building? Well, if 1/5 of the land is for gardens, what fraction is for building? Well, if you do 1, take away 1/5, use your calculator, do 1 whole, take away 1/5, you'll get 4/5. And that's the fraction of the land that you can build on. So 1/5 is gardens, take that off for the gardens, and you're allowed to build on 4/5 of the land. So I'm going to do building equals 4/5 of is times, so we're doing 4/5 of this block of land here. And type that into your calculator. So we're doing 4/5 times 8,200. So put it in your calculator. Okay, and when you've done that, we're pressing equals 6560, and that's how much land you're allowed to build on. Councils will check plans to see that the people have gone with their regulations, and they will also check it at the end to see that it's compliant. Okay, our last question we have over here says, in this diagram, you've got to read everything. M is halfway between B and C. Okay, so that's very important. So get your red pen and just do that, because that means that they're equal markings. That means this piece is equal to this piece, because M is halfway. All right, now if that's the case, if this is 16 for this side of a rectangle, that whole side up there will be 16. You can do this with your red pen to show that you added it on. All right, now, what does that make these two bits? They'd be 8 each, wouldn't they? Okay, now we're finding the shaded area. So the shaded area is this thing here. Now that is a trapezium. All right, so this side is parallel to this side. Okay, because it's a rectangle that you're looking at originally, there are right angles in there. Okay, so here's your right angles, and they're parallel, those two sides. So let's write down the area formula for the area of a trapezium. And let's put those times signs still in. Okay, so stubbing our numbers in, let's leave this little space here first. We know that our parallel sides are 8 and 16. So it's 8 plus 16 over there. And what is it that goes between the two parallel sides? Well, if that's 12 there, this will be 12 over here. So you can mark that in with your red pen. And that will be your perpendicular height between your two sides. So now let's go to the calculator and type this in. 1/2, right arrow, times 12 times, open bracket, 8 plus 16, close bracket, equals 144. And that's the answer to your question. Do we have units? Yes, we have metres, so it's going to be metres squared. Okay, so I don't think it's too difficult, this work. Really, really important that you've got 3 lines of working. For most of these questions, you have a formula, put your numbers in and get your answers straight off your calculator. So good luck with your homework.